Okay, suddenly the LA Chargers have a deep running back room, and we'll get into that. They have an unusual running back that they signed just because he actually was pretty decent, and now he's with the Chargers, and he's like not even on the depth chart. So if you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel all about the LA Chargers, and it gives you an unbiased look into your team. Here are some takeaways from the Athletic on minicamp. Talked about the offense struggling, but then here the offense picked it back up, and Justin Herbert delivered two superb touchdown passes. The first one coming in the red zone to running back Jarrett Patterson, who ran a wheel route down the left side, and Herbert layered a pinpoint touch pass over the tight coverage of Denzel Perryman. So you've got Jarrett Patterson. You're like, wait a second. So you go and look at him, and this guy is a 5'7" running back, and he's actually played quite a bit for Washington. We'll get into that in just a second, but it's like, well, wait a second, right? So he had 71 yards and a touchdown, and this is an old you can see the date on it, but I was just looking back at like some of the things that he's done, and he actually played for the Commanders quite a bit. So if you look at his story, it's kind of interesting. And plus the Chargers, by the way, Chargers signed another player today. We'll get into that as well. But so Jarrett Patterson, he goes to the Commanders, and this is in 2021 and 2022 is when he's with them. And he was undrafted. And head coach Ron Rivera was like praising him in those off seasons. And he was in there with like JD McKissick. Remember him? Playing for, he was like basically in the running back room with the Commanders. And so anyway, I won't go through everything, but he played a lot, got in there a lot. And then these last couple of years, he hasn't. And he actually had a little stint with the Chargers. He was on the practice squad. The reason I bring this up is because if you look at, and I'm going to get into why this running back situation, the running game is so important. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. Don't know about J.K. Dobbins, just had a lot of injury history, but you've got this Vidal guy and Isaiah Spiller, who you were hoping would be a little bit better. But you can see that Jarrett Patterson isn't even on the depth chart. This is ESPN's. They just kind of throw it up there. But my point is you've got 5 running backs that you can take 3 or 4 of. Jarrett, obviously you want somebody special teams wise. Why do I bring this up? Is because here's a tweet right here. Jim Harbaugh said 5 starting O-linemen have separated in OTAs. It's Slater, Johnson, Bozeman, Pipkins, and Joe Alt. Said group is on track to be a top-tier offensive line in the NFL. We know about Jim Harbaugh. We know he wants to run the ball. You know how he just somehow establishes running games really well. Well, you've got the offensive line now in place. You've got now the offensive line and now running backs. And if you can get, and Jim Harbaugh did this when he was at Michigan, especially when he first got there, he didn't have like a main running back. He used 2 or 3 guys. So Gus Edwards, yes. Isaiah Spiller, can he come on? Maybe it's Jarrett Patterson, who played with the Commanders and had time there. Is it J.K. Dobbins that can rotate in? This is the stuff that is really intriguing to watch in training camp as, man, it's like, all right, there's all of a sudden depth at running back, depth at offensive line, wide receiver is still a question mark, but feels a lot better than it did when you traded away and released your top wide receivers, and it's just like, I don't like this. Keenan Allen's gone. What? Mike Williams? And no, it's all good. Quentin Johnston, maybe he figures it out, but who cares at this point, even with him? Joshua Palmer, Lad McConkey, DJ Chark, done. Like that's it for me. Okay. Now let's see here. Looks like the Chargers also signed safety Tony Jefferson, who is coming out of retirement. He was at minicamp and now he gets a new deal to play. And so, man, no surprise. Former Raven, Joe Ortiz, former Raven, it's fine. But you get a veteran guy. And I think that's what you're really looking for right now if you're the Chargers. Settle this franchise down. We're professional. We're mature now. Like that's that's what's coming out of these OTAs and minicamp. This is not This is a well-run franchise. And they're just like, let's get veteran dudes, especially right now. It's a 1-year deal, and then we'll go from there. Because if you look again at the defense, man, there's not a lot of holes. I mean, no defensive tackle, maybe, but defensive end feels good. Linebackers feel good. Secondary feels good. So if you're a Chargers fan, this is really shaping up because we continue to talk about this division. You've got the Raiders, no quarterback. Broncos, no quarterback. That's 4 games right there that you get to face teams where you clearly have the superior quarterback and coach. You got the better coach, better quarterback in all those games. And so again, you got to go against the Chiefs. Fine. That's they are who they are, and it's like, all right, let's go. And Jim Harbaugh loves that though. Jim Harbaugh is accustomed to taking down the big dogs. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. Love to see what the Chargers can figure out with their running back room and the offensive line. And we'll see all of you on the next one.